What title is shared by a top 5 Boyzone single and a top 10 Zara Larsson album? So. Which famous writing dame appeared in Coronation Street in 1961? Muriel Spark, Barbara Cartland, Beryl Bainbridge. In the church calendar, what day is 46 days after Ash Wednesday? Easter. At room temperature, mercury is in which of the 3 states of matter? Gas. What follows The Satanic to make the name of Salman Rushdie's controversial book? Vessels, verses, violence. Members of what sporting club refer to the colours on their tie as egg and bacon? The All England Club, the MCC, the Jockey Club. Which pantomime character began as Le Chapote in the 1690s? Which of these plays by David Mamet is set in a real estate office? Edmund, American Buffalo, Glengarry Glen Ross. What was the rhyming nickname of motor racing champion James Hunt? Hunt the Grunt. Hunt. In legend, who did the Lady of the Lake give the sword Excalibur to? Merlin. What does the Japanese animated character, Hello Kitty, usually wear in her hair? Bow, pins, hairnet. What is the name of the triangular part of a sundial that casts a shadow? In the lyrics of a song, who can take a sunrise, sprinkle it with dew? The Candyman, the Milkman, the Ice... In the title of a top 10 hit, what was ordered with 2 pints of lager, some pork scratchings, a Jaeger bomb? In the novel CATC822, Yossarian signed some letters using which author's name? Washington. What follows New York and Los Angeles in the names of 2 best-selling American newspapers? Telegraph. The name of what board game combines the words picture and dictionary? Pictionary. What's the name of the pottery jugs made in the shape of a man wearing 18th century clothes? Tony Jugs, Dobie Jugs. Princess Alexia is the eldest child of the last king and queen of what European country? Denmark, Spain, Greece. Which character in Friends repeatedly said, "Oh my god, Janice, Judy, Julie"?
This is a game, why not revive me by watching?
Which of these countries has a maple leaf on its flag? In which of these would an aeronaut travel? Hot air balloon, golf cart, catamaran? Which of these famous films was released first? Which of these records won a Grammy? Which of these authors was female? PD. Which of these soups is not? Which of these world champions? The male of which of these animals is known as a? Which of these cities is in New Zealand? What was the slogan for the 2018 Eurovision? Which of these is a definition? Which of these films is actually set in Greece? Which of these chocolate bars is made by Cadbury? Which of these Which of these football clubs is nicknamed the Bees, Burnley, Brentford? Which of these phrases? Joburg is a nickname for which? Which of these boy bands was formed? Which of these books appears earliest in the Bible? Which of these is a real? Which of these is a weight training? In computing, which of these is a type? Which of these bands was the first to have? Which of these are Milton characters? Which of the emergency? Which of these is the nickname? Olfaction is a word. What title is shared by hits for Radiohead and TLC? In the classic 1933 film What Have Van? What country's currency is known as the almighty dollar? Which two counties are connected by the Tamar Bridge? Who was Prime Minister when David Cameron was born? Who was Prime Minister when David Cameron was born? Edward Heath, Harold Wilson, Harold Macmillan. The novel Riders by Julie Cooper is set around what sport? Andy Samberg plays Jake Peralta in which show? Andy Samberg plays Jake Peralta in which show? Leading players in what sport are given an ATP ranking? A horse's stifle is the equivalent of what human joint? A horse. In London Transport the DLR is the Docklands Light what? Which Russian composer took US citizenship in 1943? Which? What rainbow puppet character was orange with blue eyes? A deuce is a dice throw that yields how many points? What was the name of the mother of King Henry IV of England? Sonar technology relies on which sense to navigate? If you are performing your ablutions, what are you doing? Who was the first Hollywood film star to appear on a stamp? What animal is in the titles of songs by Mud and Survivor? When filling out a form, what do you do on a dotted line? What item of clothing is named after a French acrobat? HR is the internet domain for what country? HR is the internet domain for what country? Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Slovenia. What is the title of Jeff Hurst's autobiography? What is the title of Jeff Hurst's autobiography? 1366 and all that. 1066 and all that. 1966 and all that. What sort of TV show is Dora the Explorer? What is Sea Gale? The first edition of what newspaper was printed in 1843? On a cat's face, what are technically known as vibrissae? In the game of Snap, how many consecutive cards must match? Who is Sid James's character in Carry On Cowboy? Benedictine liqueur is flavored with what?